Revelation 2414. From the 18th of July 1942. Transformation of the will. Must state. Target, original state. The God-opposing will was the cause of the spiritual being's apostasy from God. Therefore the godlike will must mean unity for the spiritual, that is union with God, and from this it is obvious that the apostate spiritual being's will must first be changed if it is to be able to unite with God again. This change is the meaning and purpose of earthly life, but it has to happen without coercion and therefore takes place in the form of a slow higher development. The being's right of self-determination is taken away. That is, it has to subordinate itself to the Creator's will as long as it covers the course on earth before embodiment as a human being insofar as it has to be active in the preliminary stages in the way God prescribes to every work of creation. This is by no means a state of complete lack of will, but the beingness has already expressed its will before, and therefore the task was now given to it which corresponds to its will. It is only a state of compulsion insofar as, once it has expressed its will, it can no longer counteract it, but must now carry out the activity to which it has previously professed itself. It is, so to speak, induced to serve, but it has previously declared its willingness to serve, otherwise it would not be admitted to the serving activity. So the will of the beingness already turned more and more towards the eternal deity. The rebelliousness was given up and the union with God was, so to speak, unconsciously striven for. But the being still has to pass a last test of will where all coercion is eliminated and the being can decide completely freely and consciously whether it gives up the will which is opposed to God or continues to persist in it. And this is the time of embodiment as a human being, which every being can now use in free will. In this time it only concerns the will whether it turns away from or towards God. And it will now be understandable to people that a successful earthly change can only be spoken of when the will, which once opposed God, has completely changed, thus completely places itself under divine will and thus the distance from God is reduced. For the latter signifies an approach to God in the conscious state. It signifies a complete transformation of the spiritual substance which once turned away from God in free will and now uses this free will again to unite with God. The spiritual substance now restores its original state without being forced to do so by God, and this signifies the spiritual substance's redemption from the cover which God joined to the spiritual substance as a fetter in order to guide it back to Himself. It signifies a free, inconceivably blissful state for the spiritual substance which corresponds to its original purpose and is therefore the goal of all unredeemed spiritual substance. Amen.